If boxing were a Broadway play, it would be filled with a colorful cast of eccentric characters and a baffling series of never-ending plot twists. To celebrate the theatrical nature of the sport, we at the Showtime Championship Boxing Report are proud to present some of our best stories. Although they differ in tone and temperament, each, in its own way, illustrates why boxing is the world's most dramatic sport. So stay with us for this retrospective edition of the Showtime Championship Boxing Report. When we originated the idea for this first piece, we thought it would be a short, simple segment without much dramatic tension and theatrical fireworks. Nothing, however, could have been further from the truth. No event in the flamboyant world of boxing may be as theatrical as the press conference, which takes place in a room such as this. With the advent of television, many press conferences have become major events, filled with dozens of camera crews, hundreds of reporters, and hordes of curious fans. And over the years, as press conferences continue to grow in size and scope, scenes such as these are becoming increasingly frequent.
That's it. Okay, guys. Right. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
I'm the man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour.
You missed this, you may never see it again for years.
Don't look good. Don't look good. And so was for Julio. You know, if he ain't here, I ain't doing nothing.
Do I have to sit here and listen to this moron?
Come on, James. No, come on.
This is what I like.
We gonna have a war, you know what I mean? This is the Flintstones here, boys.
This is what I like.
We didn't come here to get stupid questions asked us.
You talk too much.
Are these genuine displays of anger or planned publicity stunts designed to increase ticket sales and TV ratings? Are press conferences premeditated hype or spontaneous hysteria?
Press conferences are, it's like a stage. This is where everybody get a chance to show what they got.
No need to fear. Right after I knock you out, come back. We can make more money than you can make with them. Me and you with the rematch. Then after I knock you out again, then you can retire.
It's a psych game, and if they can maybe get a guy a little bit, get an edge, a psychological edge. Some guys, I think, are just nervous, and they're perspiring, and, you know, they get a little excited because they're on stage.
I said, you said to me,
spank his behind.
no, you said you're gonna whip his behind.
And this is the belt we're doing, and this right here is be the That's what I said.
I think they're serious. I don't think they're trying to psych each other out. I think they're trying to convince themselves what they're going to do.
Nobody can really pinpoint when press conferences became battlefields, but everyone agrees the man who became the absolute master of this psychological warfare was Muhammad Ali.
The only fighter that ever really dominated press conferences was Muhammad Ali. I mean, you know, there was no point in having a promoter get up and, you know, because Ali was essentially the promoter, the PR guy, the fighter. It was, everything rolled into one.
As soon as he come out the hotel and starts to run by the ocean, the beach, I'm going to come out behind the trees with a white sheet. I'm going to put a white sheet over my head. And when Joe Frazier come out, I'm going to say, ooh.
Muhammad Ali, that was his best weapon, to intimidate an opponent, to put fear in them, or get him so excited he forgets his program when he gets in the ring.
That's bad, ain't it? Oh, man, ain't that bad? Don't look good.
You start rolling the camera, and here comes the showman. And he was the absolute greatest to ever do that, ever. In my lifetime, and probably in anybody's lifetime.
Although Ali may have been the greatest ever in the psychological warfare of press conferences, these battles continue to rage on. And today, most press conferences have some sort of verbal or physical altercation. Is this planned, or are these spontaneous outbursts?
When the bell rings, we'll see.
No one in my experience has ever sat before a press conference in a room somewhere and said, okay, at the end of the press conference, you do this, and I'll do this, and we do this. And that doesn't go on. These things are spontaneous, albeit theatrical, albeit full of bravado. but not staged, not intended that way.
Yo creo, Cheddar, you better be quiet, please.
A lot of people come up and say, what did you do to get these guys to say what they did to one another? I don't think that there's any way you can stage something like that.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Hold on. Let him go.
One of the press conferences in Los Angeles with Tyson and Ruddock, we simply had them standing there to take a photograph, and I don't know who pushed whom or who said what to whom or what happened, but next thing we knew, we had what appeared to be a near melee. I happened to be standing virtually in the middle of it at the time, and I can tell you that it was certainly not staged. And I'll tell you candidly, it scared the hell out of me.
Several weeks later, through a satellite hookup, Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock became involved in the most talked about press conference since Muhammad Ali retired.
You understand? Because I'm going to come ready. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, you know that.
I don't know why you talk to me like that when you know I'll kill you for it.
That's what I like about you, Mike. You talk tough.
I can't wait till the 28th. I'm going to make you my girlfriend.
Let me say something to you.
When Mike said, you know, I'm going to make you my girlfriend, or he said, you know, I'm going to kill you, that kind of stuff, people who watch boxing, they know what they want to see.
What's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this guy?
I believe we got some 87 requests from television stations across the country when they saw the feed, can we get the whole press conference? And you're saying, sure you can. I mean, that's great because you know in almost every major market in the United States, they're going to run what was said and people talk about it and it's interesting. So it helps people tune into the fights.
We'll never know why Mike Tyson made those comments, but it certainly created interest and generated revenue for his fight.
Fire every morning at 3 a.m. That's curfew time. You all can't come out, but I can.
In the theatrical world of boxing, it is impossible to tell what is real and what is staged. But clearly, no matter how much pushing and posturing exists in the press conference, it will always be a poor substitution for the drama inside the ring. On Saturday, May 8th, here in Las Vegas, the great Julio Cesar Chavez will defend his WBC super lightweight title against the #1 contender, Terrence Ali. And WBC middleweight champion Julian Jackson will take on WBO title holder Gerald McClellan. But when a 6'5", 220-pounder with a quiet manner and a murderous right hand climbs into the ring for the last bout of the night, he'll be making boxing history. For Lennox Lewis will be the first Englishman in almost 100 years to defend the most prestigious, most revered title in all of sports, the heavyweight championship of the world. Undefeated in 22 professional fights, this Olympic gold medal champion earned the respect of the boxing community with his 2-round obliteration of the seemingly indestructible Razor Ruddock. This victory triggered a series of bizarre events that would lead to his coronation as champion. Now, he's facing the #1 contender, American Tony Tucker, whose only loss was a 12-round decision to Mike Tyson. Since then, this 6'5", 235-pounder from Grand Rapids, Michigan, has run his record to an amazing 48-1. While this transatlantic bout between these two very large and very talented heavyweights has provoked much nationalistic pride and patriotic zeal, it is rare, even by boxing standards, to find a fight so shrouded in controversy and steeped in intrigue.
Also fighting on May 8th with Lennox Lewis and Tony Tucker, 5-time world champion Julio Cesar Chavez defends his perfect 86-0 record against one of the most eccentric and most talented fighters in the super lightweight division, #1 contender Terrence Ali, whose impressive record includes 52 wins. Julian Jackson, who's earned his reputation as one of boxing's best knockout artists with 43 KOs in 47 fights, puts his WBC middleweight title on the line against a super slugger in his own right, WBO champ Gerald McClellan.
Champions in the sport of boxing are amongst the most admired and envied athletes in the world. Their fame transcending national boundaries. Their financial rewards surpassing our wildest dreams. Yet for every fighter who attains this lofty status, there are hundreds of thousands of others whose dreams will never become a reality. This story is dedicated to them.
My name is Nate Tubbs. I'm 26 years old. My record is 9-1.
I beat Buster Douglas. I fought Carl Troop Williams, Mike Tyson, Bone Crusher Smith.
My record is 15-9-1 with 13 knockouts. Rated number 9th in the world.
My name is Young Joe Lewis. 34 years old. I fought for the cruiserweight title 3 times in a row. I missed it 3 times.
Whether young up-and-comers or former contenders a little past their prime, these men have one thing in common. They are boxing's forgotten warriors, the sparring partners. Far from the glamour of a championship fight, they toil in the obscurity of gyms such as this one. Day after day, they climb into the ring to fight the best in the world, with no star-studded audiences to cheer them and no large purses to reward them. Who are these men? Why do they do it? And how essential are they to the sport of boxing?
Sparring partners are essential to boxing because it's the only way you can practice the sport. But in order to really get sharp, in order to judge an opponent's fist, the speed at which they're coming towards your nose, in order to move out of the way, in order to block them, parry them, in order to throw your own punches and get the right distance of your combinations, you have to have a sparring partner. There's no other way.
Usually you hire a sparring partner because he can simulate the style of the principle that you are handling in an important bout. He can do some of the things that you expect your fighter's opponent to be able to do.
For most fighters, being a sparring partner is a means to an end. For the young up-and-coming boxer, it's a chance to gain valuable experience, testing his skills against the best in the world.
I don't consider myself being a sparring partner. It's a learning experience for me. I'm a young, upcoming fighter. It's a good learning experience for me. One thing that gets me out of bed mostly is competition. You know what I'm saying? Is my ability to go up against someone that's supposed to be, quote, the best in the world. And if I get in there with this person, and this person's considered the best in the world, and if I'm holding my own or doing a little better than this person, then what can I say for me? I mean, I don't feel like I'm a sparring partner. I'm a fighter is what I am.
For older fighters with perhaps their best years behind them, it's a way of staying in shape for that one last big payday or title shot.
Well, at any point in life, being a sparring partner, that's my profession. That's what I do. If I was back at home, I'd be doing the same thing, going to the gym, working out, not getting paid for it.
I like being a sparring partner because I'm hoping that one of the undercard fights might get pulled out and they might need to use a sparring partner from either camp. And there's a possibility that I can get matched up with one and get a fight.
In the more prestigious training camps, the salary for a sparring partner can be very good. Mike Tyson, for instance, pays his men up to $2,000 a week. Many of the sparring partners, however, do not believe the money compensates for the long, tedious training camps and the time spent away from their families.
They understand, They understand what I have to do. It's a hard, lonely life, man, But somebody got to do it.
I miss my kids and my wife, man. Bad, yeah, but this is part of the job, and sacrifices have to be made to go upwards, so.
For some fighters, being a sparring partner becomes a way of postponing that inevitable day when they must retire from the sport they love so much. And although they all maintain they'll know when that time comes, none of them believe they are ready to hang up their gloves.
Most of these guys, fighting gave them an opportunity to see the world, to go out and meet people, earn a living for themselves. And it's hard when it's at the end of the rainbow to really hang the gloves up.
Now, when I wake up one day and I look in the mirror and I say, hey, you getting beat on too much, look at you, your face being disfigured, you don't feel good about doing this, you don't feel good about doing that, then I will stop. Common sense will tell you when it's time to quit, And so I know when common sense tells me it's time to go, I just have to kiss the game goodbye, man, and go on with my life.
As long as I'm as dumb as I was when I started, when I get finished, I'm cool.
Each and every one of these forgotten warriors are driven by a dream that refuses to be diminished with the passing years and the mounting losses. It is a dream for them that says one day soon they'll be the undisputed champion of the world.
But now I'm 33, I'm stronger than I've ever been, I'm smarter than I've ever been. And it seems like it's getting like wine, man. I'm getting better with time.
I would think that the hardest thing to be able to shake would be the adulation and the admiration that you get from the public.
I don't think no one can ever tell me when to stop fighting but myself. and I have enough pride in myself to know it's quits.
And before I retire, I want to be champion of the world. And I know I will. You know, he's in me.
We have followed the careers of some of these sparring partners. Although Mark Wills lost to former champ Bone Crusher Smith, he won his next 2 bouts, including a close decision over Jerry Jones. However, he is still not rated by any major boxing organization. Jesse Ferguson lost 2 out of his last 3 fights, but then stunned the boxing world with a convincing decision over Ray Mercer, who was scheduled to fight Riddick Bowe. Now, Ferguson will fight for the heavyweight championship. And young Joe Louis has been stopped in his last 6 fights. But he tells us that he is still hoping for another title shot. I'm Steve Albert, and I'd like to thank you for watching this special retrospective edition of the Showtime Championship Boxing Report.